In this video, I'm checking out a brand new monitor from Desview. This is the Desview R5, and not only were they generous enough to send this to me for review, but they have sponsored this video. So let's check out what comes in this little black box. The Desview R5 is a 5.5-inch 4K monitor, meaning it accepts a 4K video signal. However, the screen is 1920 by 1080. This monitor also supports HDR, which means a wider color gamut as well as higher brightness. In the box, you get the monitor itself, sunshade, an HDMI mini cable, an HDMI micro cable, a D-tap cable, an SD card, a cold shoe mount, a microfiber cloth, and the user manual. Taking a tour around the monitor, you'll see some branding on the front. One of the cool things about this monitor is it comes with a screen protector that is already installed, which also means if you scratch the screen, you really don't have to worry about it. You just have to find another screen protector. Around the top, there is a single power button. There are a couple of slots to hold that sunshade that's included. On the left side, you'll see two HDMI ports, one for HDMI in and one for HDMI out, as well as a DC in port. So you can plug this monitor into a wall and not have to worry about batteries. On the other side, there is a single tripod screw mount. And around the bottom in the middle, there is another tripod screw mount. On the left, you'll see an 8-volt DC out, which you can use to charge your camera while using this monitor, which is great. There's also a headphone jack for monitoring your audio. And then on the right, there is an SD card slot for loading custom LUTs. On the back of this monitor, you'll see that you can use 3 different batteries with it. The E6, Sony NPF, or V-Lock batteries are all supported. Fortunately, with this monitor, they include a battery. This is an NPF battery, which you can slide and lock into place on the back. Once you plug in a battery, the monitor turns on its own, and that is it. Now you can use this by simply mounting it with the included mount on your camera. And then if you're using a Sony camera, Sony mirrorless camera, such as the a6100 that I have here, you just need the little HDMI cable, plug it in, and we see a picture. So that is it. Now let's take a quick look at the menu system and all of the features that are built into this little monitor. Looking at the interface and menu on this monitor, it's pretty simple. If you move on the left side of the screen, you can increase your brightness or decrease it. And on the right, you can adjust your volume. So if you're using that headphone jack, you can increase the volume or decrease it for monitoring your audio. To get into the menu, you simply double tap on the screen, and you can also double tap to exit the screen. Now looking at the menu, there are a whole lot of adjustments and things you can do with this monitor, which is really awesome. Looking at the first menu item here, you have exposure assist, so you can do false color. You can select 2 options here. You have zebras. Again, you can adjust up or down. You have a histogram that can be moved in any position on the screen just by clicking the corresponding box. And you could adjust the transparency of that histogram. This monitor also has waveforms, which is kind of a premium feature. Again, you can move this around and you can adjust the transparency. Vector scope is available here. You can turn on all waves, which kind of just opens up all of the waves, and then you have just a screen in the corner. And then the last item is HDR. You can choose from HLG or PQ. Under the focus and composition menu, you have single color, different colors there. You can set up your peaking. So if I wanted to do green and strong peaking, I can see that Janessa's hair is in focus here. Close that for now. You can put a center mark on there. You can also change the color of it. Setting up a safe area is also very easy. You can choose the color of the box as well as the size of it. Then you have mark ratio. You can set this up to mark 4:3, 16:10, 16:9, 240:1 even. So you have kind of those black bars. That way you know when you're setting up your shot what your final video is going to look like. There are grid lines. You can do 2:2 all the way up to 8:8, as well as change the colors, which is great. And then the last item is audio meters, which you can select left or right, and that is shown here. The next menu item is LUT configuration. With this monitor, you can load up to 28 groups of LUTs. So you load them through that SD card that you saw earlier, and this is where you'd be able to load them and see what your LUT looks like. Next item is display settings. So you have aspect ratio, which we have set as 16:9. We can flip the display, we can zoom in, we can do pixel to pixel, HV delay, freeze frame if you wanted to take a screenshot of the frame. And then the last item here is if you're using an anamorphic lens, you can select, let's say 1.33x, and it does the de-squeezing for you. So you can see exactly what your shot looks like with an anamorphic lens, which is very, very useful. The last menu item is system configuration. So you have menu configuration, choose your language, timing, colors, color temperature. You can customize the color temperature of this monitor to suit your environment. You can adjust sound, battery notification, and do the firmware update as well as a status. That is pretty much it for the menu. There are a couple of shortcuts listed at the bottom, but again, it's very easy, very intuitive. And if you don't like having all of these waveforms, you can simply go into the menu system and you can remove each and every one of them. So I can close that, I'll close the waveform, and just like that, you have just what you see on the back of your camera. So this little monitor has a ton of features packed into its menu system that all make shooting video a whole lot easier. Now, what are the practical uses of having a monitor such as this one? Well, first and foremost, if you have a camera such as the A7 that doesn't have a flip out screen or a flip up screen, you can use a monitor such as this one to plug into it and see yourself when you are recording video. But even if you have a flip up screen such as what's on the A6100, that screen is pretty compact. Increasing it to 5.5 inches makes it a lot easier to see yourself when recording. It also helps to see a larger picture when you are recording video because you can make sure that your subject is in focus, you're not overexposed, etc., etc. Now, you can also use a monitor such as this one outdoors on a gimbal. There are a bunch of gimbals out there that sometimes make it difficult to see the screen on the back of your camera. Using a monitor makes a whole lot of sense for outside gimbal work. I will be honest with you guys, I haven't used a monitor for basically any of my YouTube videos because I figured, what's the point? I can see myself decently enough. But after using this monitor for the last couple of weeks, I've kind of thought to myself that I've been doing it wrong all along. It really is a good bit of kit to have with you, especially in a home studio setup such as what I have right now. It just makes seeing yourself so much easier. For less than $200 right now on Amazon, I would be hard pressed to find a monitor that does everything that this thing does for the money. There are, however, a couple of things that I noticed as far as negatives. Really, I only have two. Number one is the screen itself. The screen is excellent, has about a 178-degree viewing angle, which is nice and wide. It has a pixel density of 401 pixels per inch. When you compare that to something like the iPhone 11 Pro, that is 458 pixels per inch, which is pretty comparable, so that's good. The only negative I have to say about the screen is I wish it was a little bit brighter. This thing comes in at 500 nits, and I wish that it was maybe like 1,000 nits, especially for outdoor use. You can use the sunshade that's included, but it only helps a little bit. For indoor use, it's absolutely perfect for what I'm using it for. If you're using this or planning on using a monitor such as this one for gimbal work, I would maybe look at the R7 model from Desview, which not only comes in a 7-inch size, but has 1,000 nits of brightness, and it only costs about $30 more than this one. In either case, I'll link both of these monitors, the R5 and the R7, down in the description below because depending on what you're looking for, portability with the R5 for indoor use versus a larger screen and outdoor use, you can choose from both of them. And with both models, you get the exact same features, which is awesome. The second negative that I have is the screen itself is a little bit of a fingerprint magnet. So I would plan on using that included microfiber cloth to wipe this thing down because I've noticed, especially tapping on the screen, going through the menu items, it does leave a little bit of fingerprints on there, but hard to avoid. Maybe a different screen protector would help in that regard. Overall, this is an excellent budget monitor that I would highly recommend if you guys are in the market for something for indoor studio use. Again, special thank you to Desview for sending this out and for sponsoring this video. Definitely check them out and give them some love. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for all of your likes, all of your comments, and your support. Stay tuned for more, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.